Hey everyone, this is the time of the year as we get ready for these standardized tests, and I know how we all love them so much. But I'm going to hopefully go through this thing, and it's going to be multiple parts, but I'm going to go through this thing, and hopefully by the end of it, you feel better about the exam itself. And if you don't, please let me know. I can give you some tips to help you out with that as well. But, excuse me, this is a release STAAR test, which you can get on if you go through Google and you can go to TEA and say star release test so you can practice, right? They have online versions as well. I printed this out because it's easier for me to work through. Okay, if you want me to go through using the computer program, let me know and I can do that as well. But let's go ahead and look at the reference sheet. So normally your STAR test gives you a reference sheet, and it gives you formulas, the basic formulas you need to be successful. They give you slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b, direct variation or proportional relationships, which is y equals kx, right? They give you slope of a line, formula for circumference, area for your different figures. They give you surface area, lateral and total. They give you volume, as well as let's see what else. You got Pythagorean theorem, and you have simple interest and compound interest. Now, here's what they don't tell you. There are multiple formulas, multiple things that aren't covered on here that they're expecting you to know. These are just the ones that they want you to have reference for. So, a couple things. I put the real numbers situation here. You got your natural, whole, integer, rational, irrational. All of these are real. That's something that you would need to be successful. This would be non-proportional. Okay. Y equals kx would be proportional. We could even write y equals mx right here. This one is proportional. Uh-oh. One second. God dang it. All right, back to what we're saying. We have formula for slope. The y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, which is the same as rise over run. This is another method to find slope as well. You can use a table. You can also make a graph. There are many different ways to play with this, right? You have your circle where you can do your parts of the circle where you have your diameter is across, your radius is like that, right? So you know your radius is half of your diameter. Um, Pictures are really helpful most of the time. See what else we have on here that we can talk about. You have your triangular surface area, which is still lateral is perimeter times height, but then your surface area total is perimeter times height plus. Now, technically, should be 2b, where b is area of the base, right? Base times height divided by 2. But when you do divide it by 2, like this 2 and this 2 cancel out. So all you're left with is just pH. So the triangular prism surface area is just technically pH plus base times height. You have your surface area of rectangular prism, which this would be perimeter of base times height plus 2 times base, area of the base. You have your lateral surface area here. So this is self-explanatory, right? B for area of the base, just in case you forget. The different formulas for volume, because universally the formula for volume is area of the base times height. Well, a cylinder's area of the base is different than a rectangular prism and a triangular prism and a cone, right? They're all different. So we need to be mindful of that. These are types of formulas that are going to help you. If you're taking a standardized test, obviously you won't have one of these pre-filled out. So I would recommend practicing writing these formulas down, the ones that that aren't on here, because the more you do it, the more you'll recall and be like, oh, I need this formula, right? Pythagorean theorem is another example. They give us a squared plus b squared equals c squared. But how do I find c? C is the square root of a squared plus b squared. B is square root of c squared minus a squared. Whereas c is your hypotenuse, your two legs are a and b, where the squares of those are equal to the square of that one, right? Simple interest, I equals P times R times T, principal rate time, right? Well, most of the time, they're not just going to ask for interest earned. They're going to ask for the amount at the end. and the amount at the end is equal to the interest plus principal. Okay, same thing for compound interest. They're going to tell you what's the end balance, but a lot of times for compound interest, they want to know what's the interest earned, and you need to be able to figure that out and then possibly even compare the two. See a couple of other things that are on here. I'm going to write on this space up here. Scientific notation examples. Remember, 9, let's see, 65000 to scientific notation would be 9.56. We count 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 10 to the fifth power, right? Just stuff like that, right? 0.0000359 would be 3.59 times 10 to the negative 4 power because of the 4 zeros, or 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So once again, here's your formula sheet. I recommend, if you can get your hands on a paper copy, ask for one. If you can't get a paper copy, ask for a scratch paper so you can write these type of formulas down. Remember, there are so many processes that you go over through the course of the year for a standardized test. So there's so many options where this might be helpful for me or one of my students, that you might need something different, right? This might all be great for you. You might have forgot what um, no association or the different types of slope, which we can do that too. You have positive, you have negative, you have zero, you have undefined, right? What is a function, right? This is something I also would recommend you write down too. This is the last thing, and I'll call it ends on this one. If you see this y as a function of x, that just means, is this a function? I see this a lot of times with my students because we often don't talk about that enough. But y as a function of x just means, is this problem a function? Which of these is a function, or which of these is not a function, depending on how they ask the question. But y as a function of x basically means, is this a function? Okay? Remember, you're looking for repeating x's and things like that. But once again, hopefully this is helpful. On your reference sheet, I'm going to go make another video where we go start breaking down word problems and how to approach the STAAR in the next couple of parts. So stick with me, stick with this process. I promise it'll be worth your while. But until next time, thanks for joining me. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.